A very good morning from myself, Devon Govender, and welcome to the GTV Preview Show that's scheduled for the race meeting that takes place on Saturday at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on the 22nd of October 2022. We've got an action-packed lineup there, and I'm joined by Rahil Radhakrishna in studio. He's going to help us take us through the card, and hopefully we can find some value for you on the day. Good morning, Rahil. How are you?
Very well, thanks. And yourself, Devon? You're looking forward to the race meeting? It does look to be a nice card on show.
Yes. I'm all good, thanks. All good, all systems go. Looks like a very, very nice card. Let's get straight into it. Race number 1 on the card is the Hollywoodbets Kenilworth Welcomes You maiden plate over 1,200 meters. And I quite like number 4 here, Charlie Malone. I do think that this has a solid chance. It is trading at 9-2. If you look at that last start when running 3.65 lengths behind Champion Warrior, on that occasion there was excuses, inconvenience, bumped at the 400. I also make number 11, Ozenka, a big runner here. And if you look at the recent form, was very, very good. The last 3 starts ran second, 0.75 lengths, then third, 0.95 lengths, then second again, 2.25 lengths. Richard Fourie State combination, massive player here. So I do think number 11 and number 4, Charlie Malone, they are principal contenders. Obviously, you can't leave out a horse like number 3, Gimmy's Laddie. That's trading at 9-2. This one was slow, has been slow in 2 runs there if you look closely at the computer form. So if jumping on terms, you got to throw this one into the mix. Also number 7, Inside Story, that's trading at 4-1, is going to come on with the natural improvement. How do you see it, Rael?
Top 3 selections for me, 5, 3, 7. So I'm going to be with Captain Casanova as some value in the race at around 10-1 in the market. I thought it was a pleasing debut effort when running third behind Georgie George. He's bound to come on with that racecourse experience under the belt. 1,200 meters now, and I think he'll go well for Grant van Niekerk and Eric Sands. Gimmy's Laddie, terribly disappointing, but I think the blinkers could certainly do the trick with this individual, and stepping back to the 1,200 meter trip could suit him. And then Inside Story, quite a bit of support for this one on debut, and he ran a fair race. He wasn't beaten too far, 2 3 parts of length. I think that he'll turn the form around with Osenka, especially over this 1,200 meter trip up the lane. So Inside Story, make him a big runner, but Captain Casanova is certainly the value in the race. Now we'll move along to race number 2 on the program, which kicks off the bipot. And this race is set to be run over the 1,200 meter trip. It's a maiden plate for the fillies and mares. And Devon, a horse by the name of Red Sash, last time out she just had a horrible draw to contend with. And she got over from the draw, but it told in the final stages of the race where Georgie George came through with a flying finish to get the better of her. Up the lane now, she's a horse that I think should go close, and I expect the form to be franked in the previous race with Captain Casanova. So Red Sash, she will be the top choice for me in the lineup. She's priced up at around 12-10 in the market and expecting a huge performance from her.
Yeah, you summed it up beautifully there. I'm all in the camp of number 11, Red Sash. I've elected to banker this in the bipot. You'll see that later on my shortlist, so I'm all in. I do make this the horse to beat. I mean, Louis McCourtma, he's riding extremely well. And this is from the Brett Crawford Yard fixed odds betting market, trading at 13-10. Rahil, I thought for trifectas and quartets, you could possibly throw in a horse like number 2, Everlasting.
Yes,
I know sorry, go on.
She could be one to include into the mix, certainly, Devon. I thought number 12 could be one that could improve and would pose as a likely danger to the favourite Red Sash.
Yeah, no, definitely a big runner. And then also if you look at number 15, Yegrit, that's trading at 7-1. If you go back 3 runs, that ran behind Canadian Summer. So healthy respect for those form lines. But back to number 2, Everlasting, Rahil. This is trading at 10-1. On debut, they put Khumalo aboard. So she was obviously showing something back at home. Then the next run bumped at the start. There was excuses. The next run was good when running third, 1 length behind Hear My Voice. The next start, 4.7 lengths behind Say Yes. Excuses again. Khumalo is back aboard. So that keeps me interested. So I'll be including that in larger trifectas and quartets.
That's it for race number 2. Now we'll move along to race number 3 on the program, which is the Hollywoodbets Punters Challenge Classified Stakes for the fillies and mares, 1,200 meters a trip. And I thought quite a competitive race with quite a few horses in with chances here. And your early favourite is number 7, Hunting Trip, at around 16-10 in the market for a 3-year-old to have to carry 62 kgs and give away weight to some of the older horses. I don't think it's going to be an easy task.
Yes.
But in saying that, she won a nice race last time out where she beat Aphrodite Don't think it was the strongest of fields. She did have every chance to go on with the effort. She was odds-on favourite. What's your expectations of this one? She's been given a rating of 83 by the handicapper.
Yeah, when I looked at this race carefully, I thought it was very open. There are a few horses here that have just won their maiden. So for me, I don't like to dive into horses that just won their maiden and now going into a handicap. So yeah, it's got to have a chance. It was a facile maiden winner, so you got to throw this into the mix. I quite like number 4 Cityscape. That's currently trading at 35 to 10. That last start with Keegan DeMello aboard was a very good effort, 1.95 lengths behind Different Face. Like you said, Raheel, this is open. I mean, you got to nail your colors to the mast. You either go a little bit wide here in terms of exotics or your trifectas and quartets, or you're going to include 1 or 2 runners depending on your budget. But there are many that have chances.
Absolutely. Just 2 more to throw into the mix. Camille Claudel from the Candice Bass Robinson yard, back down in trip to 1200 meters. Could certainly see a better performance from this one. Last time out, she didn't get the best of runs in transit, and she finished 9th off and the 9 runners. And then number 8 Country Time, one that I think you could also throw into the mix. But race number 3, certainly a tricky race, and in terms of those place accumulators, I think include as many as your budget does allow. Now we'll move along to race number 4 on the program, and race 4, this is a maiden special weight for the fillies and mares, 1600 meters a trip here. And it certainly does look to be a 2-horse race to kick off the pick 6 between horse number 8, Jazabella, and number 9, Allende. But there's one horse that I think you've got to throw into the mix, and that's going to be number 1, Typeface. 7 to 1 in the market. This could just be the roughie that you want in that first leg of the pick 6. Now I'll start with Typeface. This horse is the value in the race, best of the draws. Second run after rest, stepping up in trip to 1600 meters could just be what this 3-year-old daughter of Futura is looking for. Vaughan Marshall is bringing her along the right way. She's got the racing experience under the belt. She's got the draw benefit over the market rivals 8 and 9. And I think Typeface, Oswald Noach is the pilot. I think this horse is going to run well. But in terms of those place accumulators, I'm going to be with number 8, Jazabella. Last time out, odds-on favourite. Beaten behind Flying First. Form line has been franked. Richard Fourie aboard, and I think that she'll go well. Healthy respect for horse number 9, Allende.
Yeah, you summed it up beautifully. You actually took the words right out of my mouth. The top 3 selections for me is numbers 8, 9, and 1. So you touched on number 1, Typeface from the Vaughan Marshall yard. Could be a little bit of value there for the swingers and trifectas, currently trading at 7 to 1. Solid form. Definitely going to put in a really good effort over 1600 meters. Yes, I do agree with you. Number 8, Jazabella, is the horse to beat. This is another one of my bankers for the exotics place accumulator banker, Richard Fourie, Justin Snaith. And obviously the main danger could be number 9, Allende. This is from the Brett Crawford yard. It's a daughter of Dynasty. Healthy respect for her as well. Some solid form there. So both of us, myself and Raheel, we like numbers 8, 9 and 1. Moving on to race number 5 on the card. This is the Prestige Plate over 1400 meters. Total of 10 horses are carded here. No scratchings, no changes to report at this stage. I quite like number 2, Inara's Dynasty. This is trading at 15 to 10. 2 solid recent efforts. The maiden victory, she won by 5 lengths. And then the last start, she beat Time Flies by 4 lengths. It's not that cut and dry. I do make this my narrow first selection, Raheel, but there are a few with chances. All of number 6, Hold My Hand from the Glen Cotson yard. I know that this hasn't raced for 84 days, but the stable do rate her, and Keegan is riding at the top of his game.
This is a very nice race, Devon, over 1400 meters. And Drakenstein Stud, well, they've got the first 4 favorites in this race.
Yes.
Inara's Dynasty, Hold My Hand, Golden Hostess, and Future Girl. And Inara's Dynasty, 15 to 10 favorite. Given the way she's been winning, I think she's possibly a worthy favorite in this lineup. And Devon, she is your top choice. However, for me, Hold My Hand, this is going to be the top choice for me. She ran in a Group 1. No one else in this field has competed in a Group 1. There's only been a Group 2 performer in the form of Golden Hostess, and she finished 4th behind Gobsmack. But Hold My Hand, 4th behind Canadian Summer, beaten just over half a length. Keegan DeMello aboard, and I think she's a horse that could be going places. So she'll be the top choice, followed by Golden Hostess. Who do you love? 3 runs. 3 wins. She's been generously priced up at around 10 to 1 in the market. She's one that I'll certainly throw into the mix, but it does look to be a competitive race. And Hold My Hand will be the narrow first choice for me, and for Devon, it's going to be number 2, Inara's Dynasty. Now we'll move along to race number 6 on the program. And race 6, this is Need for Speed Sprint, 1,000 meters the distance, and it's another race for the 3-year-olds, non-black type, and this horse, Hitamard Sunshine, beaten behind Charles Dickens last time out. That was over 1,200 meters at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. He's dropping to the 1,000 meter trip now. Grant van Niekerk aboard. He's a horse that is highly regarded by the Eric Sands yard, and he's one that I think should go well here. He's going to be a horse that a banker in that place accumulator. As I mentioned, beaten behind Charles Dickens last time out, and I expect Charles Dickens to go on and win the Cape Classic, the Group 3. So Hitamard Sunshine, this will be the firm first choice for me, Devon. And despite the rest, I expect him to bounce back to winning ways.
Yeah, looks like a real quality individual. That last run was a cracking effort, 1.5 lengths behind Charles Dickens. You summed it up well. Grant van Niekerk, he's going to have all the assistance in the saddle, and I do think that number 7, Hitamard Sunshine, is going to take an absolute power of beating here. So in terms of trifectas and quartets, I'll be bankering this and possibly throwing in a few other runners, hoping for a roughie to run second or third, which will probably make the trifectas and quartets pay. But I'm in full agreement with you. Number 7 is the horse to beat. Other horses to include could be a horse like number 3, Trumpy. This is from the Vaughan Marshall yard. If you look at that last start, 6.2 lengths behind We're Jamming. Restless on that occasion, pace, tired. With Khumalo aboard, throw this into a mix. I'm not worried about the rest. 238 days since the last race, but Vaughan Marshall, he knows how to bring them out, so they'll have the source fine-tuned. And anything else you want to add there, Rahil?
I think we've summed it up perfectly there. Hitamard Sunshine, certainly the one to beat, but healthy respect for a horse by the name of Trumpy. Now, race number 7, Southeaster Sprint, a listed event over the 1,100 meter trip. Sure, how hard is this race?
Yeah, take your pick here.
Sure. I think you're going to be in for a massive quartet dividend in this race. I think the quartet could certainly be the way to make a bit of cash in the 7th race on the program. I'm taking no chances. I'm going to play the field in the pick 6. Banker is coming up, and I've gone short in the previous race. So this is going to be a field race for me. Give me a Prince. He's a horse that has been priced up at around 5-1 in the market. Slight support into 9-2. And Keegan Mello takes a ride, 56.5 kgs on the back. He does look to be a really nice prospect. 4-year-old son of Give Me the Green Light. He does return off a 3-month layoff, 3.5 months off the track. He beat 55 last time out at Hollywoodbets Greyville on the poly track. First run in the Cape, we'll obviously have to wait and see how he does go. But he's a horse that does look to have tons of ability. So he's one that I think you have to include into the mix. Future Prince, another horse that I think you have to give healthy respect to. Even a horse like Barcelona, one that must be given a chance in this lineup. But Devon, tough racer.
Yeah, very tough race. You touched on majority of the runners that I would include, and I'm in full agreement with you about all the horses you spoke about. That is number 12, Give Me a Prince. I also like number 5, Future Prince. And then I'll also throw in a horse like number 4, Safe Return for the shortlist. The last run was not bad at all. That was obviously after a slight break, ran in July. Had a month's break. They then raced on the 17th of September. That was a good run, 2.5 lengths behind Ambiorix. But I'm in full agreement with Rahil. Go as wide as your budget allows you and possibly go the field, because it does look like a very, very open contest, and many of these horses have lively chances. Let's move on to race 8, which is the big one on the card, the Cape Classic Grade 3. It's over 1,400 meters. And there's a champion in the making here, Rahil, and his name is Charles Dickens from the Candice Bass Robinson yard.
Wow, Charles Dickens, the way he won last time out, ultra impressive. That win would have no doubt gave you goosebumps. And if you didn't watch the race, I think that you hop onto YouTube and have a look at that replay, because the way this horse cruised up to them, he moved up so effortlessly under the hands, and Aldo Romeo didn't even have to ask him anything. I mean, he won full of running. He beat Iconic Destination. You could say maybe wasn't the strongest of field compared to what he does meet you in this Cape Classic, but this is a Group 3. That wasn't a graded race. And I think Charles Dickens is going to go very well in terms of his career. I think he should take a power of beating in this race. I don't think there could be any horse to oppose him. But if you're looking for a horse for those exacta positions, or possibly one to include into your swingers, I'm going to suggest horse number 1, Countdown. as a horse that I think you could take a few places on. He's been priced up at around 20 to 1 in the market. He's a highly regarded son of Give Me the Green Light. His form is clear to see in black and white. He's a 2-time winner from 6 starts. You can clearly see what the team do think about him. He's been raced in the feature races in the KZN champion season. But the key now, I think that he has been gelded. So with gelding on his side, he does have his first run after rest, first run after gelding. I think that could certainly do the trick with this individual. So I expect a nice run from Countdown. But for me, I think Charles Dickens, he's going to be a superstar.
Yeah, just to, if my memory serves me correctly, Raheel, talking about that last run when he ran 3.25 lengths behind Iconic Destination. If I'm not mistaken, when I listened to the comments, they said they don't have him fully tuned up.
Absolutely.
So he wasn't fully tuned up, and he absolutely trounced the opposition. Yeah, you heard it from us. We're all in the camp of number 5, Charles Dickens. This is the horse to beat. He looks like an absolute champion in the making. You heard from Raheel. He likes an outsider in the form of number 1, Countdown, to include in your trifectas and quartets. And I would throw in number 3, Wicken Worry, at 20 to 1 from the Van Zyl yard. Nice to see them up in the Cape. So in terms of trifectas and quartets, you can make a case for a few runners. But the banker for us is number 5, Charles Dickens. He's a champion in the making. Let's move on to race number 9 on the card. This jumps at 1730. Hollywoodbets Bright Future Middle Stakes. It's over 1,200 meters. Raheel, I like a little bit of number 1 here, Dragonfly. He's trading at 9 to 2. Good lengths, 2 good recent runs. The last start, there was 1 or 2 excuses, restless, respiratory noises. I've been following this horse for a while. Elder de Meyer aboard. I'm willing to take a chance and include him in all my Yankee bets, doubles, trebles. Yeah, 9 to 2, you can't get hurt.
I certainly think Dragonfly must be one to include into the mix, Devon. He's a horse that he does enjoy. Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Last time out around the turn, beaten behind, all lit up. He does have the best of the draw, so one to include. The second wave included into the mix. It's Raining William, certainly one that I think you can throw in as well. But Dean Street is the one that I'm going to be keeping a very close eye on. 8 to 1 in the market. I don't think he quite enjoyed Hollywoodbets Durbanville. He's a lot better at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, up the lane, Calvin Abebe aboard, and course and distance suited. So 8 to 1, that's going to be the value play in race number 8 for me. And Devon likes number 1, Dragonfly. I like number 7, Dean Street. And those are the 2 value selections in race number 9. Now, next up, we'll move along to our shortlist. And I'll take you through my shortlist first, and then I'll hand over to Devon to take us through his shortlist. And we'll start off with my shortlist. Race 4, number 8, Jazabella, PA Banker. Race 6, number 7, Hit 'em Out, Sunshine. And then the horse who looks to be a superstar in the making, in race number 8, number 5, Charles Dickens. I fully expect this one to go on and win this Group 3, the Cape Classic. And I'm looking forward to see how Charles Dickens does go. Horse to watch out for, race 8, number 1, Countdown, 1 for exactors and swingers at 20 to 1 in the market. Devon, take us through your shortlist.
Thanks very much, Raheel. I've got a bipod banker for the guys. That's in race 2, number 11, Red Sash. The only 2 runs to date are very, very good, 1,200 meters now. I don't think that this will miss the top 2. I do think that this horse has a massive winning chance. Moving on to the place accumulators, bankers, race number 4, I've gone for Jazabella. All the runs have been good, so solid form there, 1,600 meters now. Don't think that this one will miss the top 3. Then moving on to race 8, number 5, Charles Dickens, my next place accumulator banker. I think he's going to take an absolute power of beating in the Cape Classic. I really like this horse. He's a champion in the making. That is a wrap from myself, Devon Govender, and Raheel Radhakrishna for the Kenilworth meeting that's scheduled for Saturday. We wish you a fabulous day's racing, and we hope it's a very profitable one.